Hi everyone, I welcome you all to the detailed and comprehensive course on construction procurement. So I have a very rich and wide experience in concluding so many work packages for so many construction projects in a very big construction organization. So I'll be involving all the rich experience and all the wisdom that I have collected through years in this particular course. So by the end of this course, you'll be having so many case studies in your head. You'll be having so many real life site scenarios in your head that you can use throughout your career related to procurement. Or even if you're not into procurement, you're into planning, or maybe you are into execution, or maybe you are planning to get into a construction sector, or you're planning to start your studies in civil engineering, then you can use those scenarios in several phases of your work. Okay. So starting with the very first section in this course series will be the introduction and course outline. So here we'll be understanding that what actually is procurement. In the very layman terms, what procurement means, and in association with the construction department, what is the meaning of procurement and why this particular term, which is your procurement, forms the basis and foundation for any construction project. Moving ahead to the second section, it will be called as the procurement strategy, where we'll be understanding the complete planning details related to procurement. See, to procure anything like maybe some material or some services like labor services or equipment services, you need to do so much of planning. You cannot just go to any subcontractor and ask for a particular material or ask them to supply labor. You have to do so much of the back-end works. Like, first of all, you have to prepare your work breakdown structure. What is a work breakdown structure? See, technically everything will be understanding in the respective lecture, but here you should know some basics of that. So work breakdown structure is just a list of all the packages that will be there in your complete set of construction project. So you have to create your work breakdown structure. So what is a work breakdown structure? We'll be understanding. Then how can you create a work breakdown structure? See, without creating a work breakdown structure, you cannot procure anything, because ultimately you will be missing out any work package, and that will lead to delays in your project. Also, it can cause cost overruns to you. Okay, so creating a work breakdown structure becomes very important. So we'll be understanding how to create a work breakdown structure. Then what are the types of work breakdown structure that exist in a construction industry? Then we will move to work packages budget. See, every work package, like let us say excavation or your concreting, or let us say your MEP works like fire protection system, they have certain budget associated with them. Like during tendering and bidding itself, you assign that particular budget to a certain work package, because see, while tendering itself, you will have a certain profit margin associated with your project. So whatever cost you have assigned to any work package, that will be the budget of that particular work package. Okay. So what is a budget? How to define the budget, and then we will take a case study related to supply and installation of fall ceiling work, where we'll be calculating the budget for that particular work package, and we'll see what all are the components in the budget related to any particular work package. Okay. After that, we'll be moving to schedule of packages. We will be seeing various types of schedules existing in the construction industry, and how do we finally arrive to the schedule related to our packages. We'll be seeing baseline schedule, material schedule, then your equipment schedule, and so on. After that, we will move to a very interesting topic, where we will be taking so many case studies and real site examples to take a call on decision related to subcontracting a work package or self-performing. We'll be understanding so many factors associated with that, like your cost or skills, disputes or delays, quality and safety, and so on, with various examples. And we'll see in what cases you should self-perform a particular work package, and in what cases you should subcontract your work package. So after that, we'll be uh, seeing what all are the various types of subcontractors existing in procurement, like your labor subcontractor, material, equipment, nominated subcontractor, nominated contractor, back-to-back subcontractor. With examples, we'll be understanding, and we'll be seeing that what type of subcontractor is suitable in what particular conditions. Okay. Then we will see the various types of contracts existing in procurement. There are so many types of contracts that exist, and we'll see what type of contract should be chosen in what particular cases. Like there is a contract called as fixed price lump sum contract, then your fixed price unit price contract, then cost plus contracts are also there, then time and material contracts, and so many other categories of contracts exist. We'll be understanding each and every type of contract with examples, with their pros and cons in this particular section. Then finally, we'll be having a quiz to summarize this section. Okay. Moving ahead, the next section will be called as tendering and bidding. So first of all, we'll understand that what actually is pre-qualification. See, you cannot float tender to every other subcontractor because for any work package, there will be hundreds of subcontractors who will be willing to participate. So what actually is pre-qualification in procurement process? Then we'll see one format of pre-qualification form. That being a main contractor, how can you float your pre-qualification form? So what is a format that looks like? Okay, then we will see that how can you prepare the tender document for procurement? Like you have to get BOQ in picture, you have to get several specifications, your drawings, risk metrics, scope metrics, so many details you need to include in your tender package that you have to give to your subcontractor. How to create what all needs to be there in your tender package, you'll be seeing in this particular section. After that, we'll see some samples of those tender packages, like we'll see a sample of bill of quantities for earthwork and backfilling. Also, we'll see one sample of scope matrix for wooden joineries package. Then we will move to floating our notice inviting tender. Ultimately, after doing all the pre-qualification work, all the backend process, we have to float our NIT, which will help our subcontractors to know about the work package coming in the market. So what is a NIT? And finally, we will see one sample NIT also for excavation works agency procurement. Okay, then we will move to pre-bid meeting. What actually is a pre-bid meeting? We'll see so many real example queries of a pre-bid meeting that have been questioned by several subcontractors during the procurement process. Okay, then we will have one final quiz related to this particular section. Then we will move to our next section, which is called as evaluation, negotiation, and contract award. So this forms one of the very important sections of our video series. So first of all, we'll see that how can you compare the bids of several subcontractors. We'll see an Excel sheet where you can easily compare the rates, everything like commercial terms and conditions of payment, and so many other details related to your subcontractors. We'll take one very good example related to tile supply and installation for 4 to 5 vendors, which will also include our last purchase price for several projects and so on. And we'll see how to compare and how to finalize one particular subcontractor for a sample work package. Then we will see how to get the approval of that particular subcontractor from your management. You are the procurement manager. You have to just finalize a subcontractor at your end. But ultimately, whether that subcontractor will be onboarded, that is up to your management. Okay. So how management influences your decision, we'll see. We'll also take a very good case study related to one package called as radiology and fluoroscopy in hospital project. Then we will see what is a work order, what is a purchase order, what is a service order using example. And one format of work order also we will see that how can you issue your work order in what particular format to your subcontractor. Then we will see one procurement tracker where for all the work packages related to your complete project, you can track all the procurement agencies, whether you have given them the LOI, whether you have received their bids, whether you have negotiated with them, whether you have released their work order, whether that agency is on board or no, all the information related to all the subcontractors for all your packages, you will be able to track using that particular Excel sheet called as the procurement tracker. Okay. So that's all for this section. We'll move to a quiz in the end of this section. After that, we'll be moving to execution and monitoring at site. Now you have finalized your vendor, you have finalized your subcontractor will be onboarded at site. So now it is the time to execute the work for that subcontractor, and being the main contractor, you will be tracking their progress of work in terms of schedule as well as in terms of budget. So what method we'll be using for tracking? That method is called as earned value management. So what is earned value management? We'll use one practical example of concreting works to understand the earned value management. We have hired a subcontractor for doing the concreting works. So how can we track the performance of that particular subcontractor using EVM? We'll be understanding in this particular section. Then we will also understand that while executing the work, your subcontractors can come up with several work order amendments, or maybe service order or purchase order amendments. And what actually amendment is, what are the various reasons of amending the work order or purchase order or service order. And we will also take one very important case study for amendment related to waterproofing works. Then ultimately we will close this section with a short quiz. Then we will move to one section called as terms of payment. So we'll understand what actually is terms of payment related to procurement with your subcontractors. We'll see some 4 to 5 practical examples also, like related to supply, installation and fabrication of structural steel, and several other case studies we will see to understand that what actually is terms of payment in procurement industry. Then we will understand several terminologies related to your payment, like your defect liability period. What is DLP? Why is it used? Where is it used? What is the risk associated with doing procurement that we need the DLP period? What all documents are required for that, and everything related to the defect liability period. Then we will understand what is a performance bank guarantee, then what is retention money or security deposit, then what is liquidated damages, what is extension of time, what is bonus clause related to procurement, what is escalation or price variation in construction procurement. Every terminology we will understand with real practical examples of site. Then we will take one very important case study related to supply and installation of wooden joinery, where we will see how the payment has to be made to your subcontractor. That will be a very detailed and very interesting case study. Finally, we'll be closing this section also with a very short quiz. Afterwards, we'll be moving to the section called as claims and disputes, which is again a very important section. We'll be understanding what is a claim, what are the various sources of claims like scope changes, delays, performance, payment related, and so on. Then we'll see how can you avoid claims in procurement. Then we will take one very important case study related to claims, which will be one practical experience of mine in one expressway construction project. And we had a claim in one particular package. We will see that particular case study. Then we will move to disputes. What is a dispute? What are the various dispute resolution methods available in the construction procurement, like negotiation, arbitration, litigation, conciliation, and so on. Then we will see one very important case study related to dispute resolution, which is for stone column installation. Then finally, we'll be concluding this session with a short quiz. Okay. Finally, the last but not the least section of our video series will be related to procurement closeout, where we will be seeing how can we close our procurement contract, what all documents will be required for closing out, like warranties or maybe contract document, manuals, permits, approvals, guarantees, and so on. So this will be the last section, and we'll be closing this section also with a quiz. So by the end of this video series, I can definitely assure that you will be having so many practical case studies, you'll be having so many real life examples, and you will be completely thorough with the topic of construction procurement. So I can definitely assure that this course will prove worthy for all of you all, because I bring a lot of experience in this particular sector for you all in this umbrella. So that's all for the video. All the very best to you all.